Welcome to Matching Mom Jeans, where identical twins explore divergent paths of motherhood born from the same roots. Join us as we navigate this crazy world of parenting, proving that even with identical DNA, our journeys are still unique. Get ready for laughs, insights, and a double dose of maternal mayhem. Hey, can you hear me okay? Because, full disclosure, I busted my eardrum and got an ear infection within a week of each other, which I guess makes sense because there was an open wound.
Go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So the entire left side of my body sounds like it's underwater at all times, which is
I've been
kind
there.
of useful when you have a toddler. Like, I don't want to be rude, but like there is this like nice buffer on the left side of my head now from like all the loud noises.
Like all those postpartum mom hacks. I can hear you just fine, by the way, but all those
Okay,
postpartum
good.
mom hacks where it's like, this and this and this, and also buy a pair of noise canceling headphones.
Oh man, I actually pulled mine back out the other day, and of course I can't wear them. I'm having to wear like over ear headphones, but I have those like I think the brand's like Loop or something, but they're like noise reduction but not noise canceling. So they just drop it a couple decibels, and those are how I survived the first year of my son's life because we had like 4-year-old and infant, and those are non-compatible amounts of noise. Like, that's just not.
Doubling, tripling, getting 100% of the amount of noise in your house and having a new person in it is just always tough on my ears. So
Yeah, it really is. I made the joke
because my daughter has started recently. She's 2.5, and she's bilingual, English and German. And she has recently started telling me to shut up. Basically, I'll be in the back of the car and she'll go, "Mama, leise bitte." Leise bitte. And I'm like, "What is leise bitte?" So of course I'm like, I've been in German tutoring for like 6 months now. Okay, I can get around all of my errands. I ran today. I ran fully. I every person I communicated with while I was running errands, I did in German, dropping her off,
Oh wow.
up, going to the grocery store, asking where something was in the sports store that my husband wanted me to go into. Like, I can do it. Okay, I can communicate. I can get by. Specific words that may or may not be pronounced properly by
a toddler
are a little bit difficult. So imagine my surprise when I like hide in the bathroom and type the Google Translate button and go, "Leise bitte," and it says, "Quiet, please."
Quiet, please. It's so kind.
Oh, I mean, she does say her bittes and her dankeschöns.
Oh, I love that.
We've fully given up on the word no. She does not say the English no anymore. She only says nein. And she does not say the English thank you anymore. She just says danke. If she's really, really thankful, then she'll say dankeschön.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, the bittes and the pleases are half and half. And now we're getting randomness like Liza.
I like it though because
also fully dropped the word my. She no longer says my.
Yeah.
She will take it straight, and it's funny because there's multiple forms of the word mine in German.
As in like possessive.
Yeah, so meinen, meine, meinst. But everything is meine right now.
Meine. I like that.
She's not like you go to like pick up the marker and put the lid on it that she was using or whatever. Meine.
You know what though? It does feel more effective to me. Like if I was fighting with someone over a toy and I said "Mina ball, Mina," it really enunciates the "get the heck out of my space" bubble. Like I really enjoy that. That's really nice. We are in today is one day into Hispanic Heritage Month because apparently Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th and goes to October 15th, which is not always how months work, but it is apparently there was a president who declared something that caused this to be this way. I don't know. But I did have a really hard time trying to explain that Septembre Octobre are both. and, and they're just like, no, that's not just one. He just kept saying, just one.
Just usually it's just one. Usually it's just the
I was
one.
like, yeah, but
So funny.
we've kicked off by labeling everything in our house in English and in Spanish because there's a huge interest in reading of the words right now by
Yeah,
both
that's a great
tiny humans.
idea.
And I did not consider that, my 3-year-old would look at any word confidently and say, this says this, until I labeled the toilet baño in Spanish. And he said, B for toilet. And then he goes, ba-ba-ta-ta, B for toilet. And then he just goes, Mommy!
That's not
like this crazy woman, what are you doing? And I was like, we haven't really approached that question yet. Okay, got it.
So are you putting the English words and the Spanish words?
Yes. So we're doing like English. In fact, I'm actually going to go through and change it a little bit because I had it in like big capital letters was English and then Spanish was like kind of lower below it, like a little bit smaller. So we could say like, it's this word. Here's how you spell it in Spanish. I actually think I'm going to go around and color code it. And green is going to be English and like red or orange is going to be Spanish. And I think that's going to be a little bit easier to differentiate.
No, I feel like English is blue and Spanish is red.
I know that English is blue and that Spanish is red or orange, but I don't have any blue. Well, I have painter's tape that's blue, but it's too dark to write all the words on. I got to use the painter's tape I own.
I'm just saying.
And I own green, red, and orange.
The right color.
Yeah. Well, currently, both people identify their favorite colors as green and reds, or green and orange. So we might just green and orange it.
Ooh, yeah, just to decorate.
Lean into the spooky season.
Love it.
It's on its way. Speaking of, you went to a. Okay, I'm going to tell this story, and if you don't want me to tell this story, I will cut it out. You went to a pumpkin patch and did two of the most impressive things I've ever seen, which is that you got all of your friends to come, which is incredible. And two, you got a video of your daughter smacking herself in the face with a pumpkin, and she doesn't start crying, at least not from where the video cuts off. And I treasure that video. That will forever be one of my favorite things.
Can I tell you something? Is this a circle of trust?
Circle of trust. Let's just close it up.
That's not a video. That's a string of live photos that I put together. I had to have a memory of that moment. She had no idea what a pumpkin was. And
no.
up to this huge pile of pumpkins. And like,
but she looked so confident. Like she had it. She was ready
toward her face. Like she was going to catch it like a beach ball. So she's got her arms like fully extended, and then she just kind of like jerks one toward her, thinking it's just going to roll into her arms, and just bounces an entire pumpkin off her face.
I know, and it's like the bridge. I was gonna say it's like the bridge of her nose and her forehead. Like it's not like it bumped the side of her face. It's not like she ducked and moved. This girl head butted a pumpkin, but the pumpkin was rolling at her when she head butted it.
She was so betrayed, and it happened in front of her best friend who is 3. And that little girl just looked at her like, "What just happened?" I feel it's like so bad, but I immediately texted to you and my best friend, and I was like, excuse me, someone please watch this video because I'm trying not, like, you don't want to laugh, but she's fine, and she's not even traumatized.
It's giving like when your best friend and you are out, like, feeling yourselves, like you're out at like a bar or something when you're like in college, and you're feeling yourselves, and then one of you just busts it on the sidewalk, like. As long as there's no blood, that's the funniest thing that's ever happened.
I can't even begin to tell you how her becoming more and more autonomous is leading to these moments where I just literally look at her, I'm like, what were you thinking? And she's like, I
That's
don't know. And
That's one of my favorite questions is like, what do you think was going through their brains? And I was telling that to one of my friends the other day. So, like, my son and her son are, so her son's going to be 2 in December. So he's like half my child's age. But they play together really well because we've been trying to teach my son a little bit of empathy because he is the little brother. So we're trying to teach, like, here's how you be nice to smaller children kind of thing. And it helps because her son is as big as my child.
yeah, there you
So
go.
there's no bullying capacity. It's just like he doesn't talk the same amount. But he has finally reached an age that I did not get to appreciate with my toddler because I was surviving it. But now I get to sit there. And the other day we were watching her son, and I was like, isn't it weird that you can totally tell he has a plan? Like, he has a goal. There's no telling what that goal is. And we're never
Right.
going to know what the plan was. But, like, you can see, like, he's very focused on something. And he's
Oh,
very
yeah.
much so putting ideas together, but it's never going to make sense. I was like,
Like,
this is so fun for me to see again in quick succession after my son's out of it.
so we very recently like rolled over our 1 year in Germany mark.
Yes.
And that means it's the
Congratulations. Is that a yay? Are we yay?
It's a yay because of
Yay.
how far we've come and what all we've done, and it's wonderful,
Okay, good.
and how settled we are. But that means that the on this day on my
Oh,
like
yeah.
photo app is getting very, very, very interesting, and it is so funny because this time last year I had a broken foot
Yeah.
in a
You were
foreign
dragging around
country
a broken foot.
with a 20-month-old,
Yeah. Like,
like
not even a full
20
old.
month old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was a wild time. And some of the videos I have of her at this age are just like, and I'm just like watching them, and I'm like, what language is that?
Yeah.
Like,
Who
like this
knows?
girl that was fully fluent in whatever she was saying, because I'm talking to her on the videos
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
fully understand, but I'm just like, it's crazy how much that changes at that age. And that, I mean, like, I love the age we're at, but I loved that age.
Oh, me too. Well, and that's what was
She's getting
so,
better, and I just look back at I don't look at it's funny because I don't look back at, like, little baby photos and little baby videos and go, "Oh, man, I missed that time." Occasionally, I look back and I'm like, "I don't remember you wearing that outfit. What day was that?" You know what I mean? Like,
where was I? Where was I in this moment?
and like, some of the little noises, like, when, she first learned to crawl, her slappy hands on our
Oh,
floor,
yeah.
like,
Yeah. She
I
had
would
some
do,
power
like
slaps.
I would do anything to, like, just hear the little slappy hands coming down the hallway,
You could
but
probably con her into doing it with some sort of treat at this point. She's
we don't
probably amenable to
have
it.
the same floors anymore, so it's just layers and layers of emotions for me.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, none of that do I look back as, like, heart swelling fondly, could go down an entire emotional spiral in both directions, happy and sad, um,
Yeah.
as I do the videos from, like, right before and right after she turned 2. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's such a special age. Well, and that's what so my friend whose son is turning 2 in December is exactly a year younger than your daughter.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was what was fun was for me to realize that of like, oh, the last time I saw my niece, this is who she was. And I remember watching her and being like, because they're only 7 months apart. Like, my son was not, leagues more advanced than your daughter. But like, he would announce that he had a plan and then he would fail at the plan. She would just kind of like go in a direction and we were all like, she might be succeeding. Who knows?
We don't
It was her
know.
idea here.
Yep,
So,
yep.
but yeah, I love going back and looking. And I've been, so we moved, almost all of Rory's belongings out of their bedroom with permission. I did ask. But we moved my husband's desk and my desk into the same room, which used to be Rory's bedroom. So we
Okay.
have this like collective office space. It's really wonderful. I'm absolutely madly in love with it. The only time that he gets kicked out is when I have to record. So he got kicked to the couch, but he has a laptop. He'll be fine. Um, but I have been digging through like random piles is the only way to really describe it of like, like here's a weird tote that I shoved a bunch of things in, and then like pulling out like here's random scribbles from a 3-year-old who's no longer
Oh,
3, he's 7 now, and I'm like, oh, at the time this was so cute and now it's so precious.
no. I don't do a good job of keeping art. I don't.
Well, so
And
do you know my strategy?
no, I don't.
So I'll keep anything that they label as, hey, I drew you this blank, even if it's scribbles. Like, hey, like I have my very first like designated piece of art from Big Brother because he said this is a dinosaur. And when I looked at it, it was like a tree, but it had a claw. And I was like, perfect. This is a dinosaur. You labeled what it is. You have intention. This is a true thing. That is framed. Like, we've got that. And I have the same one from my youngest because he drew what looks like an egg and called it a rocket ship. And I was like, perfect. We have intention. This is art. But any of the like semi-random scribbles or like half-colored color sheets, those types of just like randomness that happen during the process, I just use them for scratch paper when I'm on with clients, or take all of my court notes or like meeting notes on them because it's all stuff that has to be retyped. So then I
Mm.
get to like have a little piece of them with me whenever I'm doing work. And sometimes sometimes something important happens and I write down a phone number that I can't lose, and then I get to keep that random scrap of scribbles forever.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
it's like it gets a second chance to stay in my life.
I keep them, and either she uses them later now that she is practicing with scissors, and so she cuts them in
Ooh, yes.
pieces. That's fun. If it's anything like very, very, very memorable, specific, or it involves like a handprint or anything like that, then I do have like one of those frames that you can like stack the art in and display different things.
I
So
do want I
I
do
do
want one
have
of
some
those.
of those things. But if it's not, then I stick it in the top of the boxes that I mail back stateside with different things in them.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to do it. That's a
Right
great way to
now,
do
though,
it.
and that's after they get taken off the fridge because right now my daughter is obsessed
Yeah.
with drawing pictures, or in this case coloring pages, because she got sent a bunch of bluey coloring pages and she loves them. So she colors the coloring page and then she needs a piece of tape, and then she
Yeah.
tapes it
Just stick it on there.
on the fridge
Remind
or on
me.
the cabinet or wherever. And so there's like 9, I think, in my kitchen right now.
Remind me to get you some magnets, man. Like you just
We
need to
we don't
get
have
a bunch.
magnetic refrigerators. My
Oh.
refrigerator is inside a wooden cabinet.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what
That's
your
an
kitchen looks
American
like.
thing.
And you don't know it. But here's the thing, like you don't know what my kitchen looks like now that it's been redone and like
That's true, I haven't
rearranged.
seen it.
But we moved our refrigerator, and it's like a refrigerator freezer. So it's got like the double doors. And then we moved it
I'm
next to
American.
our basement door, which is actually an exterior door, even though it's like a kitchen to basement thing. It's just for security. We have it to where it connects to the lock. And it's actually a metal door. So the boys figured out that there are 3 options to hang your art on. And now there's some strange hierarchy that I don't understand. But I had to buy more magnets. Is basically the end of that story. Like there was a large like decision made about where art went and how it went, and I did have to draw the line at putting it under where the ice maker and water comes out because there was a lot of things that kept getting wet because
Yeah,
the same hands that create the art are not good at holding cups steady to get water out of the fridge.
fair
It's
enough.
just not a same level.
I don't
But
have anything magnetic in my house. I bought
mm,
a sticker, like a big giant sticker, and I put it on the side of one of the bookcases.
ooh, that's cool.
That's a magnetic surface, but it's not very strong. It's not as strong as
Yeah,
like refrigerators are. So it's like you can do a couple things. She can do like her magnetic letters there
I
because
was
she
gonna
used to
say
really
yeah.
love those. But yeah, that's not how we have much smaller refrigerators and freezers in Germany, and they are built inside your cabinetry.
I kind of love that for like the aesthetic that I'm picturing.
Yeah.
But I would probably not like having to open two doors to get to. Because I'm always getting into the fridge one handed with like something else open in my other hand. Because we do
It's
a lot
kind
of
of
like
like a
half protein
connected
shake.
situation.
Oh,
You
cool. So you just
pull
pull
on
on
it,
one thing?
open the refrigerator door.
Nice.
Literally, the
Okay.
only issue is the fact that like there's no ice maker, no water. You
Yeah,
know,
no hole in the front.
and it's teeny tiny.
Yeah, that's fair. That would not go well with
Because
my
I
life.
mean, most Germans grocery shop like 3 times a week.
Yeah, it's like more of the like normal, almost like the New York vibes of like, I'll pick up dinner on my way home. Uh,
Yeah.
stuff. Um, Yeah, no, we are officially a milk household and we have survived 3 years without being a milk household. But now that my son is doing like a lot of liquid
What's a milk
nutrition,
household?
so like like the houses that have babies and toddlers that drink whole milk, you open their fridge and there's like 4 gallons of milk. Or like they have you not ever seen that? Like when
No,
your
I mean
child is
like
drinking milk and there's always like four
my
gallons,
daughter
3 or 4 gallons.
definitely drank milk, but we only ever bought one at a time.
See, that's living on the edge. That's like letting your car get empty on gas before you go to the gas station. We always have 2 gallons of milk in our fridge at all
I mean,
times.
now we have to buy milk in liters, and so we always buy like 3 liters because that's basically a gallon of milk. But also, our milk
Okay,
is
so
stable now, so we don't store it in the fridge unless it's open.
ew.
Milk in Europe is um shelf stable. So are
I,
eggs.
well, my eggs are shelf stable. That's fair, but not the milk. Not the milk. I didn't know that. I'm a little weirded out by that.
No, it's great.
I'm weirded out. I can get it. It'd probably make my life a lot easier if I could stick a bunch of gallons of milk into the pantry instead of. Did I tell you that I made the boys their own tiny cabinet in the bottom of like my pantry, and now they can just have all of their things, including their own cups, bowls, and plates.
I
They can
love
just
that. We've had
access their
that
stuff.
since my daughter
It's the
started
best.
crawling
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a
You guys used to have like a
cabinet.
little spot where she could get her snacks out,
She
and I'm
still
like,
does. And
yeah,
she sets the table for dinner every night. She's in charge of our silverware, like everybody's silverware, and then she fills everybody's glasses with water. And then she gets to pick out her plate or bowl
yep,
and her
exactly.
cup.
We've been loving it. My only thing is that like we're also in the stage of like his doctor said, which he has a whole nother medical procedure thing happening this week where he can't be on his medicine. So basically we're just basically feeding him anything he'll take. But like his doctor has been so serious about like anything this child will eat, give it to him, that it's kind of turned into a snack cabinet. So we're gonna have to
Have you
go back through
tried
and like clean that out.
have you tried a strawberry uncrustable?
Um, Yes. No, not an Uncrustable, but we've done a sandwich that I made into an Uncrustable because you
No,
can
no,
just
no, no,
like
no,
cut
no,
the
no.
crust and squish them all the way around.
The real uncrustables.
I
Because
have not.
we are able to shop on the American base every once in a while. We don't do it often because there's food in the German grocery. Um,
The way you felt the need to explain that. Don't worry, guys. If you live in Germany, there are grocery stores there, and they have relatively the same types of food.
I mean, they do
PSA.
I'm like I cook a lot of things from scratch, so there's not a lot of like specific needs that we have, but
Yeah.
we still go to the American base for Vlasic pickles, buffalo sauce, what my daughter has affectionately started referring to as black cereal, which
Oh.
is kashi goli chocolate.
Oh, yum. That she's got good
So
taste. That's the
now it's
best stuff
my
ever.
cereal that one Saturday morning she took a bite of while I was in the bathroom and then
Nope.
insisted that the black cereal was the bomb.com. So she's obsessed.
Also, it
Um,
must be genetic that she calls black brown and brown black because my son, those are the only two colors he routinely
no.
changes. Like, and
Yeah.
he'll even tell you like gray and black, like he can differentiate those. But if you put something that's brown and black next to each other, it's wrong every single time. I'm like, cool,
She's
buddy, you've got a
also
couple years for this one.
She's also sometimes referring to food based on who she ate it with the first time. So, like, she's got
Oh,
a like, say she's got a friend named Sarah. She does not have a friend named Sarah, but she'll call Sarah noodles.
oh no.
And I'm like, that's not that's what that's called. You were just with Sarah when you had those the first time.
Yeah. Well, we have a similar problem, but it's literally anything that he did with either grandparent or any grandparent, grandma, grandpa, other grandma, grandpa, anybody. He'll name it with that person and then song or story or joke or movie. And you're like, do you have any idea how many songs you've listened to with your grandmother? Do you have
Right?
any idea? And
But
I was just like,
okay,
no,
so
thank
black
you.
cereal is
Black
one of
cereal.
the things. But recently I went and it's not always consistent what we can get. And so it's, it's one of those
Yeah.
places that if you're going to go, you might as well
It's like
wander every
Aldi.
aisle because you never know.
Yeah.
And in the freezer section, they had strawberry Uncrustables.
Wow.
And it was about to be the last weekend that it was Labor Day weekend. And that is the last weekend that the outdoor pools in Germany are in our area of Germany are open,
Oh, yeah.
because it's already 50 degrees and it's cold.
Yeah. I woke up today and it was like
Um,
65, and I was like, oh no, this must be how my sister feels. And then you were like wearing a full coat, and I was like, never mind.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I sent my daughter to kindergarten today in boots, sweatpants, and a sweatshirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing. But I got strawberry Uncrustables, and I picked her up early on the Monday of Labor Day weekend. We sent her to kindergarten. This is the new me as a mom because I've always had too much postpartum anxiety to not like be with her every second that I could be with her.
That's
And
fair.
so this was the first holiday that my husband and I were off and chose to send her to kindergarten.
Ooh.
And we like had a whole plan. We wanted to sit down and look at some of our like upcoming travels and some stuff that we wanted to plan. We wanted to go to a Mexican restaurant, which Mexican food in Germany is very hard to find and not that great, let's be honest.
Yeah. Probably a little
but,
questionable, I feel like.
but we wanted to like have that vibe, like see if we could sit down and eat some
Yeah.
chips and salsa. Spoiler alert, it was not chips and salsa, it's fine. I'm over it. I'm over it.
I
But
will, when I come to visit, I will find a way to make you some. I'm getting very good at some very specific
my
Dominican and Colombian dishes. So
my pico de gallo
I
is
will help you
fire
out.
now.
You're like, I have to do this myself, people.
Literally. But so we took her to kindergarten, and this is not how I normally have done things, but then we decided we would just pick her up right after she woke up from her nap, which is like an hour and a half ish earlier than we normally do. And so we picked her up and we surprised her and we took her straight to the swimming pool because
Ooh,
Labor Day is not a holiday in Germany. So it's just a random Monday afternoon,
just a
which meant there
regular
was
day.
nobody at the swimming pool.
Yeah,
And it's the like week before they closed. The water
that's
was
a
really, really
win.
cold. But then I pulled out the Uncrustables
I forgot this whole
at
story was
the
about
swimming pool.
Uncrustables.
It's a whole
Totally
way to get
forgot.
to the Uncrustables. But yeah, and I
I'll
was
have
just
to try
like,
it.
this is summer. This is summer. You're at a public pool with an Uncrustable. Anyway, you should really get your son some Uncrustables. That was the point of that story.
I will
They are
put that on my
childhood.
list. I will put that on
And
my
you keep
list.
them in the freezer, and then you just pull them out and put them in your purse, like just a little bit before, and then they're like cold and a little slushy. It's great.
You're making me want peanut butter, and I can't eat peanut butter.
I don't even like peanut butter,
But you just
but
really love some Uncrustables?
I love it. I love a frozen Uncrustable.
Nice. Did you know that they make a little like thing where you can stamp out of a PB&J
Yes.
sandwich, you can make your Uncrustable, which means theoretically you could make like Uncrustable grilled cheese or like
Oh, I have.
Uncrustable. Like, I bet
My
it's so
mother-in-law
dang
and
good.
father-in-law have a couple of those things, and they take them camping, and you can do like s'mores
Ooh.
ones, or apple pie ones, or grilled cheese ones, roast beef
Yeah.
sandwich ones.
You can tell that it's almost dinner time at my house because I'm hungry. Hey, I have a question for you. How many pounds of grapes did you accidentally end up with? Because then I want to tell you how many pounds of tomatoes that I kind of intentionally ended up with, but accidentally
We
didn't realize I had this many.
have we talked about my
You,
grapes on the podcast yet? I feel like we have.
we talked about the grape ladies that took the leaves, but we
Yeah.
didn't talk about the fact that you're actually a winery now.
We have so many grapes, and so we have been eating them. They are seeded grapes,
Have you
and
been
there were
freezing them?
we froze some.
Oh, good. Okay,
We
good.
um, packed some up for work. We tried to make jam with one, but we don't have a candy thermometer, and my husband way overcooked it and basically made like one giant fruit snack in a jar.
Ooh, I love that. Sign me up.
So
I
if you
love
ever
making
want
jam
some
because it's fun to mess up.
solid grape taffy, we've got that. Um, And
Gross.
then we've got yeah, so then I picked a bunch of them and took like a huge container of them to work and gave them to people. And people were like, "Wow, you grew these yourself."
Nice.
I was like, "Thank you. I did nothing."
I did
Um
nothing. They did it on their own.
okay. And then this weekend we had a friend come by and harvest. We helped him harvest the rest of them because he's going to make wine
Oh,
out of them.
yes.
And he
Wine from
harvested
your backyard.
over 86 pounds of
No, thank
grapes.
you. That's a lot of grapes. Did it break your little veranda terrace thing that it was on?
Oh, totally fine.
Oh,
Now, when we were harvesting them, did we find a live animal living up on the veranda thing? Yes, we did.
was it
Um,
a snake or was it furry?
it was furry.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, so gross.
Just
I'm
lived it
hoping
up
that we have
there.
made it less hospitable now.
Possibly. Well,
We
so
don't need to put a
now I
winter
can
up
tell
there.
you. Did I tell you about my accidental tomato forest?
No.
Okay, well, since it's harvest season, welcome to the harvest podcast. Apparently,
Of
um,
course.
I I did not. I planted everything from seed from my garden last year. However, last year my like tomato seeds don't last that well. They're just not as good. So I got fresh tomatoes from the grocery store and then planted those seeds. And I got like three really strong plants out of
Okay.
it. So that's how I do everything, by the way. Like everything in my garden started from grocery store fruit and vegetables, which I know they say you're not supposed to do, but I don't care. I do it. It's fine. So I had like three strong tomato plants. Well, my mother-in-law, like that's like the plant she can grow. Like she is a tomato plant grower, and she is from the Dominican Republic, so I trust her tomato taste. She
Right.
knows what she's doing. And she does like Romas and like those really big, like round, like beef steak type ones. And so I always get my Roma tomatoes from her. So I had like cherry tomatoes because those are delicious. And so my neighbor saw that I was planting my garden and she brought over four like grown from seed little tiny dirt pods that her son had grown from seed in her house and then didn't want to plant in the ground because he wanted to plant something else. And she's like, here, rescue them from dying. And they looked really pitiful. So I just planted them next to my tomatoes and was like, if they die, they'll mulch the earth. No, I accidentally grew, I think it was 9 tomato plants. And the
Oh,
reason I
good.
say I think is because I only had 6 tomato cages. So the ones that didn't look like they were going to make it, I just planted outside the cages and hoped that they would like kind of direct themselves onto the tomato cages.
Right.
No, they climbed each other.
Yeah, they like scurried across the ground.
No, not across the ground. They went up and then leaned and then connected with their little hookies onto each other. And it's a
Oh,
gnarled tomato wall, like a mass of tomatoes.
okay.
And you can't step through it. You can't put your arm through it. Like it's solid. And behind it was the corn. So now you can't really get around either side of the tomato hedge. Um, and so what I've been able to harvest so far has been, I think, 37 pounds of tomatoes.
Wow.
And that does not include everything that has any blemish that I throw to my chickens or that the groundhog has eaten, because we do have a groundhog who lives in our backyard. His name is St. Anthony, and he does take attacks off of the garden.
St. Anthony, please come around.
Yeah, something has been lost and now must be found. Usually tomatoes. Usually tomatoes.
Usually
Um,
tomatoes.
he loves he loves himself some tomatoes. But yeah, so I think it's funny that you like bought a house that then was overrun by grapes, and I adopted random tomato plants that tried to kill everyone. There's
Yeah.
so many. I've been eating fried green tomatoes though every single day. They're
Mm.
brilliant. They
I
never
don't
get
know.
less yummy.
I don't know if my tummy could take it. Don't know if
Probably
my see,
not.
like, the
We
grapes
haven't
are
had
perfect.
any.
Maybe the grapes are thriving so much because I'm not a grape person.
See, that's good. That is pretty
However,
good.
my daughter is. So,
Oh yeah.
homegirl is really wild about the fact that she can just walk outside and just grab some produce and
Oh, see,
then
so
walk back
that's
into the house.
yeah. My youngest, yesterday, we went to the grocery store. Me, him, and his dad, and he goes, "I'm hungry. I want to take a snack in the car with me." And we're like, "Oh, come on, dude. We're just trying to go to the grocery store. Like, let's not." This child walks up to the basket of tomatoes on my counter because see, half of them are in the fridge, but they don't all fit in the fridge. So some of them are on the counter. He walks up and grabs a tomato and then goes to his cabinet and grabs a bag of pickle flavored chips and takes them to the car and is sitting in his car seat holding a tomato that he's licking because he doesn't actually eat them. He just licks them. Thank goodness it was washed. And eating pickle chips. And then anybody who asked him how he was doing, because the sweet little people in the grocery store, and they're like, "Hi, how are you today?" He'd go, "I ate pickle chips and tomatoes for breakfast."
Well, you know,
Like he didn't though.
vegetables.
He didn't. He already had breakfast and then he made himself a snack that was incredibly questionable.
I mean, we were
So
at the pumpkin patch this weekend, and my daughter announced that she was going to eat a lot for dinner. And somebody said, "What do you want for dinner?" And she said, "A bowl of black cereal and 3 pickles."
I mean, amen. That's the kind of dinner I can get behind.
That's the way. Girl dinner. Girl dinner.
Exactly. 100% girl dinner. I think my son really took that TikTok sound to heart, like into his brain and into his soul, because his favorite meals are so weird.
These
He wanted
intuitive eating kids are just like nutso.
wild. I mean, we're talking a cheese stick and half a lemon. That's and because his doctor is like, give him anything he wants. Like, obviously, like he doesn't need to be eating chocolate chips constantly, but like if he's eating something, especially this week because we had to take him off of his like appetite inducing meds. And so like really any interest he's showing in food at all, we have to try to get nutrients in him. So he's doing his like, actual like meal shakes that are like keeping him with his vitamins. He's taking vitamins. So then it's just like a matter of like he's hungry, he needs to eat something. It's been so weird. He was at the grocery store and he cried for a pear. And then he sat there and held the pear and licked it. And I'm like,
Aw.
you can eat the pear. I'll just pay for it. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I just told it. He begged for watermelon and we got it. And he just wanted to sit there and smell it and lick it. And I'm like, I know your tummy hurts, but like, you're getting weirder by the minute.
Yeah. That's a
Poor
lot.
little guy. But yeah, he's such a little hoot today. So what I was going to tell you about, like, we were talking slightly before we started recording about like he asked me if we can move bodies more. And what I realized is that like on the days that we do not go to like actual designated like indoor gym time on Tuesdays or like whatever day gymnastics is, like all of the stuff that are only like on certain days, a lot of times we like play outside. Well, lately we haven't been playing outside because it's been raining. So I found online all of those like little kid yoga things. And there's some really cool like little kid yogas.
We are
Um,
a shout out to Cosmic Yoga
I
family.
was about to say Cosmic Kids Yoga Dinosaurs is like perfection. But that wasn't going to cut it today. He was like, no, we need to move more. And he really likes to watch Bluey's The Floor is Lava, which is like you dance until the floor is lava and then you jump on the couch. I didn't realize that they've made a new and improved version of that. That is basically like you do anything they tell you, and then when the floor's lava, you have to jump up and hold your feet up in the air. And I thought, oh, it's a 20-minute video. I'll do it with you, buddy. So we were ducking and dodging, and you have to jump over pretend things and all this stuff. At the end of 20 minutes, I was
You're in like
I
A Pilates video.
told him, I was like, man, if we did this every day, I'm going to feel great.
See, that's what's so funny about that is that I have decided, it's back to school time. It's, the end of a crazy summer.
Yeah,
I've been
getting
trying to
normal.
get back to like a normal schedule, not only for her sake or my husband's sake, but for my sake. And one of the things that I've been doing, my husband has been traveling a lot. And so I've been solo parenting a lot. And for my mental health, I have been trying to work out more because we live a very active lifestyle. We bike to and from
I was
work.
going to say, you bike 80 miles a day, so
Eight, but still.
that's a lot.
But
More than
it's
I
not once you
bike.
get used to it. And like we walk a lot. A lot of things are walkable to us and stuff, but that's not like intentional move my body
Yeah.
time, and it's not upper body. And I have
Oh,
a
I
2-year-old who
see.
still needs to be carried a lot. So
Yeah, that's
wants
my
to be
upper
carried
body
a lot.
workout.
So I need an upper body workout to keep up with her. And so core, upper body, some, back stabilizing stuff, really, really important to me. So I started an exercise program and I have been doing the videos. Um, eh, we're going to go every other day. So I'm not lying to people. Um,
When
but
you have to say every other day with an asterisk, and that asterisk is just a picture of your toddler's face.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's what
that's
that
exactly
means.
what it is. Like, I aim to do it every day, and then some days it doesn't happen, and I pick it up the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
So
100%.
the intention is there. But I originally was doing them like on my off days, like while she was napping, or I would try to do it after bedtime. That's not working. That's not working for me. That's not working for me. You know what a guaranteed time for me to be able to do this is? Well, while she's playing downstairs.
I was
So
about to say, when
I
she's right there with you.
It is so hard because some days it's like, your father is right there. He
Yeah.
could probably open this water bottle for you. And she's like, no, mama, do it. And I'm just like, oh my
Yes.
gosh. So I invited her to do some of the video with me. I'm like, no, right now it's mama's time. Look at the little clock in the corner. It's counting down. When that's done, I can do whatever you need. But this
Yeah, we
is
do that.
mama's time. And so we're doing it. There's so many times. Like, first of all, somehow raising a perfectionist, because if they are doing their right leg or something and I pick up my left leg, she's like, Mama, that's the wrong leg.
Oh my gosh.
Mama, that's not what she's doing. And then
Wow.
once uh, the program I'm doing, this lady really loves mountain climbers. Mountain climbers
No
are
thanks.
hard.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I hate mountain climbers. I'm pretty
so
sure I'm not allowed to do those. I still have to
stopped
check my physical
for
therapist before I do anything.
I like stopped for a rest, and my daughter was like, Mama, it's not over yet. And I was just like, okay, drill sergeant, 2-year-old. But then sometimes it's like we do it and she's like practicing it too. And she goes, wow, we're so strong, Mama. And I'm just like,
Oh, that's what makes it
oh,
worth it.
sweetie.
See, no, mine just looked at me and goes, you look tired.
I'm tired.
And I was like, I am tired. We've been up since 7, dude. Get it
7.
together. I know everyone else in the world wakes up super, super early with their children, but 7 is really early for mine because he sleeps till 8:30 used to, and now
9.
he wakes up at 7 every day.
9. That is not early.
No, not early for everyone else. Early for me. Yeah, no, back to school and like getting into a routine has been super helpful, but then it's also making me realize that like the feeling right at the beginning of summer when like you're relaxing on your routines and you think that it's going to be relaxing and instead you just spend all day stressed out about the stuff that you should have been doing because you took a day off kind of feeling. Nope, you're looking at me like you don't have that feeling.
I don't have a summer break. We had 2 weeks of summer holidays. So I don't.
Yeah, I
I
guess
haven't had a
that's true.
summer.
Yeah.
I haven't had a summer break since I was in college, and then I I really haven't had one since high school because I took classes and worked.
I was
So
gonna say you took classes in the summer. Well,
so
I guess my thing is that like I have to slow down because I have to be home because we don't have daycare or childcare.
right,
And so like I went into like I notified my clients like June and July are going to be very busy for me. Like I notified my supervisor like I will be available at odd times, but not necessarily during like
right.
the hours you can normally reach me. So
So
like
maybe
then
2 weeks.
then I was like keeping, then I was like keeping small humans alive and like accomplishing other things. But then I'd get to the end of the day and I'm like, what did we do today? I love being back to school and back to some form of like regimen. And like we've talked about like
Yeah,
rhythms and routines and schedules, but like it's, we don't even have to go that far. Just the fact that like I know who's going to be in my house for this amount of time, like where everyone's going to be during that time. Like my husband having an office upstairs, like he's going to go to work and then he will come down for lunch and then he will go back upstairs to work. Like, like I'm not
right.
playing because like when it's summertime, there are more people in my house. Like grandparents can come and stay. We have Big Brother around a lot more. Rory can come and stay whenever they want
Not
to or
to mention
whenever
the
they're
fact
able
that you have
to.
friends with similar aged kids who could
Exactly.
unexpectedly plan a play date, and you're all gung ho for it, but you don't. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
and
different to
one of
wake up
my
on a
closest
Wednesday in September and be like, "Oh yeah, no, they're definitely not." Even if I invited them, they're definitely not coming over because they've got school.
they've got school. Yeah, one of my closest friends has 6 children and only one of them is not in school. And so like now we can play date with just the 2 youngest children and there is
Wow.
no other chaos. But also like library story time is back. People like let's a round of applause for library story time coming back. I missed them. They did their summer program. I'm glad they're back. Toddler time is back. At the everything is back. Like, are you sad? Are you sad that your library doesn't do story time? They probably do. It's probably just in German.
No, our the on base library does story time on a day that I work,
Oh,
and
zero fun.
during the summer they did a story time on Sundays, so it was actually attainable. So I feel opposite.
Oh, that's really stingy. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
it's
I wonder
okay.
why they don't do weekend activities as well.
Probably
Or like
because
ours doesn't
everyone
really
will be
either.
working on the weekends.
That's true. Nobody, yeah, they work all day. I don't
Uh,
know.
but
I
yeah,
just
I
really
mean, like,
felt nice
it's
to know what to expect. Like for weeks in advance. Like I know what's going on. It's so
it's
nice.
nice to know what to expect because then you can put your energy elsewhere. Like,
Yes,
I
there
have
you
been
go.
able to focus on things that have been on my to-do list for quite some time because the routine allows me to free up the capacity to do it. Like, yes, I was still working all summer, but summer for us was travel and people coming to visit and chaos and,
Yeah,
all these different things and, different schedules. Even though we had childcare, we still had several different schedules and lots of
yeah.
holidays in there and then 2 weeks off and all this stuff. And so, looking at the next month or so and having a pretty set routine. I'm sorry, I just
It's,
yawned. I
it's your bedtime for you. That's
Oh, it
fine.
is. I mean, it's 10 p.m. I'm
Yeah.
circling the bedtime drain. But um
Circling the bedtime train. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna be sucked into oblivion soon. Um but it's nice. And I think, I always describe my daughter to other people, like if they're talking about, even like talking to her teachers and stuff, as she struggles with transitions.
Yep.
It's genetic because I also struggle with transition.
I wasn't going to say it, but
This
yes.
all is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. We know exactly where it comes from.
And so it is nice to be through that transition and to know
Yeah.
what to aspect. And I recognize just mentally where I'm at in that. And so I know that's also got to be something that she is feeling, albeit hopefully much more subconsciously, um, that she's back in this routine. She's back, got these
Yeah.
things going on.
I
Because,
actually, I always wonder like the things that become like socially accepted concepts, like where they started from and what they're actually connected to psychologically. And I actually think that one of the things where people talk about how comforting fall is, like, oh, fall's so comforting. I think it comes from that like big deep breath in September when you look around and realize, like, oh, hey, I've got a couple months until the holidays. I have a fun summer of memories, so I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on things. Like,
yeah,
there is no one judges you in September if you say no thank you to any plans. Like in July, if your friend is like, hey, we're all going to the pool, they're going to text you like, hey, we all went to the pool. And then you're going to be like, did I make my kids miss out because we didn't go to the pool? Blah, blah, blah. No, nothing like that happens in September. You're fine. Occasionally, you get invited to watch one of your friends' kids play on their football team. And that's great. Everybody loves Friday Night Football. You can go or you don't have to go. It's the best thing ever.
right.
Drive-in movies, it doesn't matter. Your friend can be next to you or up the hill, or you don't have to go at all. Like, I just
Right.
really love the fact that there is no expectations in
There's
September.
just like there's just the steadiness of September.
Ooh, steady is a very good word. I like that. I like
There's, there's the joy in the fact that there's like food that's coming available. I love a pumpkin patch. I love apple
that is true.
picking.
You made a pumpkin soup. I made an apple pie. Like greatest
Yeah.
thing ever.
I mean, it's wonderful that things are available for harvest now. In Germany, root cellars are still a thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so people are like, buying up for their root cellars to get them through the
nice.
winter, all their potatoes.
I was about to
And
say
I
we accidentally just bought a lot of potatoes because our grocery store does like a special on some Saturdays where you can go in and you can buy a they like have it portioned out for you. It's like four chicken breasts plus a bag of like veggies like Brussels sprouts or broccoli, and then it's like a thing of salad like Caesar or ready regular, and then it's supposed to be a little thing of like potato medley. Well, this week, for some reason, the warehouse did not have little potato medleys, so they gave out giant bags of roasted potatoes.
yeah, there you go.
And I didn't realize until we had already bought two of them, and I was like, "Sweet, loaded baked potatoes forever." I was like, "This is
Potatoes
what's
for the
happening,
entire
people."
winter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll just put those in the root cellar. We need to find
But
a root cellar.
yeah, I mean, it's nice, I think, to be in that steadiness. And I think children probably feel it too, although, the back to school is quite chaotic.
Yeah, they kind of like their activities like go up, and parents kind of stable out a little bit until you have. I mean, I do know that there's the whole like conversation around like extracurriculars and the million things people do, but neither of us are impacted by that right now. So
Yeah,
we're going
that's
to
a
take
subject
advantage of
for
that.
another time.
Exactly.
But I
I know you're absolutely exhausted and I need to get dinner started. But I'm so glad that I got to just like catch up with you. I
I know
appreciate
what a
that.
random chat, but it was
I
good to have.
it was full blown tangents. I like it.
All right, you're a good mom.
You're a good mom too. Bye.
Bye.
No, mom.